Money does not leave you because you are not good enough. It leaves because your life is not stable enough to hold on to it. A lot of people think being poor comes from bad luck, weak connections, or a bad starting point. But there is a harder truth to hear. Many people never really move up, not because they do not try, but because the way they live every day is quietly ruining their own future. You can change jobs, change environments, change friends, and even change your goals. But if you still wake up every morning in chaos, spend your time based on emotion, make decisions based on mood, and live without principles, then no matter how much money comes in, it will not stay long. Money does not stick to inconsistency. Money stays with stability. Anyone who wants better finances first has to live in a cleaner, clearer, steadier way. It is not that you get rich first and then live differently. You have to live differently first, and then the results begin to change. The most dangerous kind of poverty is not in your bank balance. It is in getting used to procrastination, getting used to doing things halfway, getting used to making promises to yourself, and then breaking them. If you want to rise, the first thing you need to fix is not your wallet. It is the way you run your life every single day. There are ways of living that do not make a person poor overnight, but slowly wear down opportunity and pull life lower over time. The first is living in a rush. Everything happens in a state of constant hurry, waking up late, working frantically, eating carelessly, and feeling mentally scrambled all the time. People who live like that may look busy, but most of the time they are just burning energy instead of creating real value. The second is living by emotion. When they feel good, they work hard. When they feel low, they give up. When they have money, they spend it as a reward. When pressure hits, they shop to feel better. A life led by emotion is very unlikely to create financial stability. The third is living without standards. As long as the job gets done, that is enough. Being on time does not really matter. Keeping a promise or forgetting it does not seem important. When people do not have their own standards, they drift easily into carelessness. The fourth is living for other people's eyes. Many people spend money, take on work, talk, or show off just to be recognized. But the more you live for other people's approval, the more you lose control of yourself. The last is living short-term, only thinking about how to feel comfortable today without asking who you will become a few years from now. Those are the lifestyles that keep people trapped in the cycle of not having enough. A lot of people mistake being busy for making progress. But being busy and creating value are two completely different things. Some people work from morning to night, keep a packed schedule all day, have a phone that never stops ringing, and never let their mind rest. From the outside, they look hardworking. But by the end of the month, there is still no extra money, their skills have not grown, and life is not much better. The problem is not that they are doing too little. The problem is that they are busy with too many things that are not taking them anywhere better. People who stay stuck in lack often have one thing in common. They say yes to everything, chase every opportunity, and spend every day spinning around, handling whatever is right in front of them. They are afraid of missing out, so they do not dare to filter. They think if they just do more, results will come. But if most of their time is poured into small tasks, urgent tasks, and tasks with no long-term value, then all that busyness only makes them more tired, not stronger. The busier they get in that way, the less time they have to think deeply, learn more, or build something solid for the future. People who truly rise do not take pride in being busy. They are careful with their time, know how to cut what is not worth doing, and know how to focus hard on what matters. Getting rich is not about doing more. Most of the time, it is about doing the right things, doing them deeply, and choosing carefully. That is when money starts changing direction. One of the most dangerous traps on the path to doing better is confusing having a real foundation with looking successful. A lot of people start making a little money and immediately rush to upgrade the outside. A new phone, more expensive clothes, nicer meals, and showing up in places that make them feel like they have finally made it. But if income grows slowly while image-related spending grows fast, that is not moving up. That is creating pressure for your future. The outside may look brighter, but the inside gets weaker every day. People who are truly rising do not use money to play the part of a rich person. They use money to make themselves stronger. They invest in skills, health, work tools, knowledge, and valuable relation. They are not in a rush to show others they are doing better, because what they care about is not temporary admiration, it is long-term stability. People who live for image are usually exhausted. They have to keep up appearances, force themselves so they are not looked down on, and spend money to maintain the feeling that they are not behind anyone else. But people with a real foundation do not need to strain like that. They are willing to move slowly, live quietly, and even look ordinary for a long time, as long as their inner strength is growing. The real difference is not in the item you hold in your hand. It is in the purpose behind every dollar you spend. One side spends to be seen, the other invests to become stronger and steadier, and only one of those paths leads to real freedom. There is a kind of asset that does not show up in your wallet, cannot be measured by your balance, and cannot be shown off in a few pictures, but it plays a huge role in whether money will keep finding its way to you over time. That asset is trust. A lot of people think that to make serious money, you have to be very talented, very fast, and very sharp. That is partly true. But in real life, the people who get trusted with big work, good opportunities, or long-term partnerships are not just skilled. They are the ones who make other people feel safe. Trust does not begin with big promises. It begins with very small things. Being on time, doing what you said you would do, finishing what you agreed to take on, not breaking promises because of your emotions, and not turning carelessness into a habit. A person may not be rich yet, may not stand out, and may not be ahead of anyone financially, but if they are trustworthy, they already have something many people with money still lack. Other people may not notice right away, but over time, they remember who is dependable, who works seriously, and who gets things done without needing constant reminders. From that trust, opportunities begin to open. On the other hand, someone who speaks well but is always late, promises a lot but delivers little, works inconsistently and avoids responsibility, will have a very hard time going far, no matter how capable they are. Money does not like to stay close to carelessness. Opportunity does not either. Once people no longer feel safe trusting you with work or with confidence, the road upward gets narrower and narrower. If you want lasting progress, you may not need to be much better than others today. But you absolutely must become someone people believe is the right person to trust. A major difference between people who stay stuck and people who gradually do better is usually not how much money they hold, but how they make decisions with that money. Some people get money and immediately want to spend it to make up for exhausting days, to reward themselves because they feel they have suffered for too long. They buy things to feel better, to reduce pressure, to give themselves the sense that they are finally enjoying life. But the problem is that emotions change quickly, while financial consequences stay much longer. If every time you are sad, you spend, every time you are happy, you spend, and every time you are stressed, you use shopping to cope, then money slowly becomes a tool for temporary comfort, instead of something that helps build your future. People who truly rise are not people without emotions. They are people who do not let emotions decide what happens to their wallet. Before they spend any amount, they know how to pause. They ask themselves whether this thing makes them stronger or only makes them feel better for a moment. They think about long-term value instead of instant feelings. That small habit is what sends life in a different direction. People without a strong foundation usually spend first and worry about the rest later. People with long-term thinking do the opposite. They set aside something for the future first, and only then think about enjoyment. It is not because they live miserably. It is because they understand that if they spend today what should have been used to build a foundation, then tomorrow it becomes very hard to go far. The way you use money every day is the way you write your own financial future. A lot of people miss big opportunities not because they lack ability, but because they underestimate small things. They think being a few minutes late is no big deal, giving lazy replies to messages is fine, and doing a simple task carelessly probably will not be noticed. But in reality, life and people judge you through details like that. Someone who is sloppy with small things is very hard to trust when big things appear. That is because major opportunities do not come from words or first impressions. They come from the sense of security you create in other people over time. People with a real foundation take even ordinary things seriously. They are on time not to score points, but because they respect time. New one. When you go out less, spend less based on emotion, wake up earlier, talk less, and start being more selective about relationships, some people will think you are doing too much. Some will think you have changed and become hard to be around. Some will try to pull you back into your old rhythm. If you are not steady enough, it is very easy to soften, give in, and return to the exact place you used to hate. A lot of people never go far, not because they do not understand what is right, but because they are afraid of the loneliness that comes with living differently from the crowd. Living in a way that leads upward always comes with a season of solitude. You have to accept that you cannot join every gathering, cannot say yes to every invitation, and cannot expect everyone to understand why you are slowing down, becoming more restrained, and thinking farther ahead. People with vision do not try to convince the whole world to agree with them. They quietly stay on course and let time and results answer for them. If you want to live differently, you need clear boundaries around your time, money, and energy. Yeah, that is not selfishness. That is knowing how to protect what you are building. A person who always lets other people pull them back into old habits will have a very hard time creating a new life. In some stages of life, maturity is not about how much more you can do. It is about how many things you are willing to say no to because they no longer fit the path you have chosen. A lot of people think making money means they have already won. But in reality, that is only the first step. The bigger challenge is whether, once money starts coming in, you are stable enough to keep it. Many people who once struggled start earning more and then slide into a different loop, spending harder, living more for show, upgrading everything too fast, and believing that is what it means to deserve their new success. But if income rises while character does not rise just as fast, money can come quickly and disappear just as quickly. The issue is not how much you have. The issue is what kind of person you become when you start having more than before. People who keep money do not let excitement drive their lifestyle. They do not rush to turn every extra dollar into proof for other people that they have changed. They understand that the moment a person first starts making money is also the moment they are most likely to lose direction, because that is when ego slips in so easily. Wanting to make up for the past, wanting to enjoy, wanting recognition, wanting to show the whole world they are not who they used to be. But the more you live from that mindset, the easier it is for your finances to crack. People who are truly steady slow down instead. They watch how they spend, how they think, and how they react to having more. They keep their old discipline, continue prioritizing stability, and continue protecting the future before indulging the present. Keeping money is not about being cheap. It is about being clear-headed enough not to go back to the habits that once kept you trapped. When your way of living is solid enough, money finally has a reason to stay. A lot of people think making money means they have already won, but in reality that is only the first step. The bigger challenge is whether, once money starts coming in, you are stable enough to keep it. Many people who once struggled start earning more and then slide into a different loop. Spending harder, living more for show, upgrading everything too fast, and believing that is what it means to deserve their new success. But if income rises while character does not rise just as fast, money can come quickly and disappear just as quickly. The issue is not how much you have. The issue is what kind of person you become when you start having more than before. People who keep money do not let excitement drive their lifestyle. They do not rush to turn every extra dollar into proof for other people that they have changed. They understand that the moment a person first starts making money is also the moment they are most likely to lose direction, because that is when ego slips in so easily, wanting to make up for the past, wanting to enjoy, wanting recognition, wanting to show the whole world they are not who they used to be. But the more you live from that mindset, the easier it is for your finances to crack. People who are truly steady slow down instead. They watch how they spend, how they think, and how they react to having more. They keep their old discipline, continue prioritizing stability, and continue protecting the future before indulging the present. Keeping money is not about being cheap. It is about being clear-headed enough not to go back to the habits that once kept you trapped. When your way of living is solid enough, money finally has a reason to stay. In the end, what determines whether a person reaches financial freedom has never been money alone. Money only magnifies who you already are. If deep inside you still lack discipline, standards, and self-management, then even if you earn more, your life will likely return to the same old cycle in a different form. But if you become someone who lives clearly, keeps your word, chooses carefully, thinks long-term, and manages your emotions well, then doing better becomes only a matter of time. At that point, you are no longer chasing money with desperation. You are building a version of yourself strong enough for money to come and stay. The most important thing is not that starting tomorrow, you have to change your whole life all at once. Nobody does that. What truly creates difference is starting with small things that repeat every day. Waking up on time more often, working with more focus, spending more intentionally, living less for other people, and keeping your word to yourself more consistently. Each small change like that is like placing another brick into the foundation of your life. At first, no one may notice. You may not even notice it clearly yourself. But after enough time passes, people who live carelessly and people who live with a foundation will end up going in two very different directions. If there is only one idea worth keeping from this whole journey, it is this: wealth does not begin in your wallet. Wealth begins in the way a person lives every day. When the way you live changes, your decisions change. When your decisions change, your results change. And when your results change for long enough, your life changes. You do not need to wait until you have a lot of money before becoming someone worthy of it. Living like a person with a future is what opens the door for abundance to enter.